Many have said that God of War 2018 is a masterpiece. After playing through it on Steam, it's very hard to argue. It ticks all the right boxes. The story is good, the lore is deep, the combat is intense, the music is beautiful, the characters are balanced between fun and serious, the graphics are gorgeous, there are plenty of collectibles, and the moment-to-moment gameplay is fun. Let's dig into why God of War is one of the best games from the last generation. I don't know why I didn't think it was this good when I first played it in 2018 on my PS4. I'll keep it short to give the Spark Notes version of the story, with some spoilers. The story itself may be pretty cliche with a hard-ass dad giving his son a hard time, but god damn it just works well here. Kratos is a loving being, but he has a huge problem displaying this to his son, Atreus. Atreus is young and messes up frequently, without even knowing. Kratos wants to go up to the highest peak so he can spread his wife's ashes. He doesn't think Atreus is ready for the adventure, but he leaves with him out of necessity. A strange man that doesn't feel pain found their home. Kratos creates enough distance for him so that he and Atreus can escape. Throughout their adventure, they meet several types of creatures that are willing to aid them, such as Freya the Witch, who will help Atreus once he becomes ill, or Bracket Sindri the Dwarves, who will help enchant the weapons and armor of Atreus and Kratos. Mimir will help Kratos and Atreus get to their destination with his wealth of knowledge after Kratos chops off his head. Don't forget the giant sea serpent that lets Kratos dig inside of itself. Kratos eventually figures out that the stranger that doesn't feel pain is Freya's son, and he goes by the name of Baldur. She casts a curse on him that numbs all pain to protect him, but this backfires immensely as he realizes this disables him from feeling all the good parts in life too. Eventually, Kratos and Atreus team up and enable Baldur to feel pain again, and end up killing him. Freya ends up resenting them, as he was her son after all. Kratos and Atreus then make it to the top of the mountain and get to spread the ashes of their loved one. With this, their main goal is complete. It could be argued that the premise is a bit cliche, but I think the dynamic between Kratos and Atreus is good and ever-changing. At the beginning of the game, when Atreus asks Kratos how he does in battle, Kratos will tell him that he needs to focus and improve. Later on in the game, Kratos will note improvements from Atreus. Or how about when Kratos lets Atreus know that he's a god? Atreus will become full of himself, and Kratos gets annoyed by his careless attitude. There's even a point when he won't listen to battle orders. I love details like this as it shows the ever-changing dynamic between these characters. Enough of the story though, we gotta get to the combat. There are three main methods to fighting a God of War. The first one is using Kratos' trusty Leviathan axe. Kratos can do a strong and light swing with the shoulder buttons. He can also throw the axe and call it back. Like with the swinging, there is a strong throw and a light throw. He can also unleash a strong runic attack and a light runic attack. The Leviathan axe can also do frost damage, which will make enemies slower. This is personally my go-to, as it does so much damage and so much fun to use. However, there will be frost enemies that resist the axe. So now what do you do? Method number 2 of fighting is using Kratos' fist, as you won't want to get hit by those bad boys. Like with the axe, he has a strong and light punch. Overall, punches will do less damage than the axe does, but it can create space between Kratos and the enemies, as well as charge up the stun meter more. When the stun meter gets full, Kratos can do a finishing blow that is accompanied by a brutal animation. This can still happen with the axe, mind you, but the meter will fill up much faster by using his fists. The last main method of combat is the Blades of Chaos. These fiery blades attack much faster than the axe, but each swing does a bit less damage. Kratos can go wild with these things, and the range is insane. These may be the best weapon to use for clearing out a horde. The game plays more like a hack and slash with these blades out, honestly. Likewise, with the axe, a light and strong runic attack can be equipped on these bad boys. It should be noted that some of the enemies will be fire-based, and therefore, they will resist the blades. For enemies like this, it's best to use either the axe or hell, even Kratos' fists. There's still more to the combat than what I mentioned above. Kratos can build up energy through either red crystals on a map, or a little bit with each successful hit on an enemy. When the bar hits a certain point, Kratos can enter his Spartan range mode and just go apeshit. Every hit in this mode will store a bit of health, and Kratos won't take damage. This is an amazing last resort idea, as it can turn the tides of a battle. Kratos will receive XP for defeating enemies, which can be used to unlock new attacks. New techniques can also be bought for Atreus as well. Kratos has a roll that can be used to dodge attacks. Oh god, is this just an easier Dark Souls game? That's not all! Atreus helps out his father during his fights with his trusty bow. He can shoot arrows of both the shock and light variety once unlocked. Shock arrows will do more damage and can chain. Meanwhile, light arrows will do more stun damage. These will also take the enemy's attention off of Kratos for a bit. Once he becomes confident enough, he can melee and choke enemies as well. Atreus can also summon a runic animal to help him fight. He can summon animals such as wolves, crows, a giant elk, or a bit of squirrel that likes to call me an asshole. There's a portion of the game where Atreus gets captured, and therefore, he isn't there for those fights. It becomes super apparent how much Atreus does in these battles. Hell, I'll admit it, there are times when it feels like he does more than even Kratos does. So the combat is all good fun, but the exploration is also great. It is so satisfying solving all of these puzzles and opening all of these chests. Or how about finding all the dig spots using the treasure maps that are scattered around the map? Or throwing the axe at all the ravens of Odin? Or finding artifacts that are sprinkled around the world? Or how about finding lore pieces? That's not to mention the boat rides, where Kratos and Atreus will tell stories to each other that are super fun. When paddling in the boat, Kratos can also ram into barrels to get hack silver, as well as other materials. This game is like a completionist wet dream, and I'm here for it. I love playing games like Banjo-Kazooie to get all these dumb collectibles. I mean, hell, the game lets the player know to look up and down at the same time to see if they can find either dig spots or hack silver buckets that are on the ceiling. There's just so much to find in this game. Speaking of hack silver, there are two dwarves named Brock and Sindri, and they help Kratos and Atreus craft and upgrade their weapons and armor. I like this. It throws in light RPG elements to help give the feeling that Kratos and Atreus get stronger throughout the adventure. This also ties everything together, and it gives extra incentive to explore. The rewards for exploring and doing side tasks usually end up yielding hack silver or rare materials that can be used for crafting. Speaking of side quests, there's just so much to do in the game. Brock and Sindri will have a couple of quests each. The Lake Spirits will also have side missions that the player can do. Or how about defeating all the Valkyries? God of War just has so much content for those that are willing to do it, and the rewards for doing these are generally worth it. I put 30 hours into my playthrough. I didn't quite do everything yet, but that's mostly because the release schedule is just packed right now and I wanted to move on. God of War has some missteps that, at least for me, keep it a hair away from being masterpiece territory. I'd argue that the biggest one is the enemy variety, and that goes double for mini-bosses. It's cool to destroy the first troll, but god damn it, by the 10th one, I was starting to think that it was getting kind of old. Or how about these elemental rock things? Or how about these nightmares? It's a shame that a game with combat that is as fun and intense as this, it can start to feel samey due to the enemies. Difficulty spikes can sometimes pop up too. The best solution is just to remember where the place is and explore for a bit, but it can be annoying to steamroll several fights in a row and then randomly just get stuck on one. The other issue that I might get a lot of flack for are the cutscenes. There are a lot of them, and I think it could break up the game's flow a bit. The cutscenes are at least entertaining, so like at least we don't have a Pokemon Legends Arceus situation. That is where the game consistently stops the player with useless bullshit. There were still some moments where I thought, man, it's been a while since I've actually played the game. The cutscenes can be skipped during the New Game Plus playthroughs at least, so it doesn't hurt the replayability too much. I still wish it was like Psychonauts 2 though. See, in this game, the cutscenes can be skipped even the first time through, in case you played it on, a different platform or something. The game had hours of cutscenes and dialogue, but it was nice that you just skipped through them if you wanted to play the game. So that's God of War, and thank God this came to Steam. This gave me an excuse to replay it and get sucked into this world again. For some reason, I rushed through it on PS4 the first time, and now I see why that's a mistake. This game will suck you in if you let it with its intense combat, touching story, great voice acting, and rewarding exploration. Its problems hold it back from a pure masterpiece in my mind, so I'll throw it a strong 6 out of 7.